Makes it awesome. Even more awesome is this map, Bel'shir Vestige. We've seen a lot today, but we have not seen this matchup, ZvZ. But we have seen this player, of course, from the team Rox.Kis in the purple trunks. He is Livezerg.
And his opponent. Spawning up top in the left-hand corner of the screen, Liquid's own Snute, hailing from Norway.
Right. So, I'm curious what these guys' Twitters are. I'm pretty sure Snute's just Liquid Snute. And I wonder if Livezerg's just Rox.Kis Livezerg. But if someone out there in the chat channel wants to link them to the Twitters, you guys can show these guys some love. This is, of course, round of 6 action. The winner of this match, this best of 1 match, will advance to the grid stage. So a lot riding on this. Because those best of 3s, man, give you just a little more breathing room to just adjust if you do drop a game. The best of 1s, though, completely unforgiving. So, a lot of drones being made here. No early pull from either player. This can potentially be, you know, a still spawning pool opener from either one of these players, though. Have seen Refinery being taken to before the pool in the matchup, just to get that link speed out. Link speed all-ins are very, very common, as are early baneling aggressions in the matchup. But, okay, Snute will be the first one to take the spawning pool in the back for space, and does appear to Livezerg.
Match first from Livezerg. Yeah. I expect to see a gas from him before pool. On a map as big as this, like, look how open. There's no ramp, and your natural is just, it's wide open. It's wide open to get destroyed by mass lane.
Yeah, can be super frustrating. So, I guess the two different, the two different builds that we're seeing from both these players will eventually end up at the same location, of course. In the ZvZ matchup, when you get your spawning pool quicker, you're going for an earlier queen in the main base. Can get that larva production ramped up relatively quickly here. Snute has dropped that hatchery down at the natural. But on the other side of the field here, Livezerg going for the hatchery first, and a later spawning pool will be able to get 2 queens out in the field right off the bat. Did he actually go for the extractor before the spawning pool?
He did not. It was pretty similarly timed, but he went for pool first, then gas.
Alright. So that's...
And Snute, man, he is like the father of going gasless builds in this matchup, but we won't actually see that from him as he does pull down extractor. This is really difficult to make gasless work. I mean, on maps where you have a little bit of a less exposed natural, yeah, it's doable. Even on maps that I wouldn't think it doable, Snute pulls it off because he's freaking Snute.
So you feel like just based on the map architecture, that aggression is certainly going to be coming here from either one of these players. Because the ability to just run through, spine crawlers don't get a lot of coverage.
I would imagine it's pretty much one player is going to make lings at some point. He's going to be like, all right, I'm done making drones, let's put on some aggression, test my opponent. And then it's going to be like, okay, well, I see a bunch of lings out, I'm going to make some lings of my own, and then I'm going to counterattack, and then we just see back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for a while. Eventually there are mutas on the map, and yeah, there will be mutas. I'm sorry if you thought there would be like swarm hosts or infestors. No, there will be mutas.
Oh, drone here actually going to be trying to be focused down by Snute, but denied.
Nice. Nice.
Going for that spore crawler. Of course, you can make the spore crawler now and hard the swarm without getting your evolution chamber, and it is slightly cheaper than a spine crawler, but Snute almost getting that. Oh, it's going to be a baneliness right off the bat here from Livezerg.
I like this.
So he is going for a metabolic boost here, slightly quicker than Snute, adding on his baneliness, of course, quicker than Snute, who hasn't put that down just quite yet. And, both players just content to continue making drones, 25 each currently here, and looking at the incomes, pretty much even, except for Livezerg, who has more gas income.
Yeah, and this is something that Hyun does that I find absolutely just so good. So he makes these little holes for his queen. It lessens the amount of surface area that opponent's lings can get. If he does indeed find himself in a position where, oh my god, I don't have link support, my queen is under fire, like, just walk back to Bailey Nest. Find yourself in a tight little hole.
I like that as well. Did look like Livezerg wanted to pressure in with a couple of links to try to take out a drone of his own, but as you can see, no workers have been killed in this matchup. Snute's baneliness now does go down. He's actually spreading his creep spread out relatively farther than, Livezerg in this situation, and Overlord in the back of the natural is not going to be focused down, but it will not see... Oh, it did see the 2 gases being taken. Okay.
Oh my god. Additional gas from both players. Doom, what does this mean?
It means we're going to see mutas way quicker than expected with that layer morphing, and...
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Snute at this point, he doesn't have a baneliness down, which makes me... Oh wait, he does.
It's coming.
He's building right now.
It's not completed, though.
Okay.
But why is he making these 6 links? Is this just defensive measure? And oh man, what a good scout here from Livezerg. Yeah. Seeing that the lair has not been morphed yet from Snute's
That is so key. He has to be thinking to himself, like, yeah, alright.
Yeah. Also got to be thinking aggression's potential here. Seeing the baneling nest, seeing the fact that, Snute hasn't taken a third base, hasn't gone for that layer, but okay, there is the layer, of course.
He is going to grab his third base.
Ooh, and Snute's actually pressuring in, gonna be forcing a cancel on this one Spine Crawler, taking out a drone in the process, and every single drone lost.
Yeah, this is a check. I mean, he needs to do this. He needs to force Lings to produce, because eventually you want to use that larva for mutas. And he also did, like, immediately go for the drones at the extractor, hold positioning himself there.
Oh man, and Snute took out an Overlord on the other side of the field, so that's gonna supply block Livezerg here. And Snute's going for his third base, Panda.
Here comes the Spire down. And Snute's is going to be a little bit delayed, but I'm interested to see if he does transition into Hydra Tech, or if he's just going to go for Spire. I would assume Spire, like 9 times out of 10, but Snute, he has a unique playstyle.
Absolutely. He has definitely practiced this matchup many times. Of course, he's got Rhett as a practice partner over there on Liquid, but a lot of Lings are surrounding this third base. Meanwhile, Snute was trying to do a similar tactic of his own with a few Banelings, hoping that Livezerg was taking that third base. But
no.
The case. And look at these queens. How persistent are they trying to take down this Overlord? Can it sneak up to the high ground, though? Nope. Not going to happen. In the meantime, though, Lings are pressuring into the natural here of Snute. One queen is going to fall.
He's going to lose a lot here. He doesn't have Lings at his disposal to, like, take away from the main stage and morph in Banelings.
Where did Snute's Banelings go to?
He morphed all of them in offensively. And this was for naught. I mean, they're just coming back now. Wait.
No, they're
not
gone.
on the field right now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that. And he's actually
There's not any damage from the drones at the natural. The Spine only has 2 kills.
He's going for an infestation pit, Panda. Does this make sense? I mean, if he lands a fungal,
sure. Because his layer was so late. And he would obviously be behind his opponents going for 2-base Muta. I mean, it's a good call if it's a follow-up, but I don't think this is as stable of a choice going forward in the matchup. You're giving your opponent uncontested map control for X amount of time. Oh wow, we're actually seeing Snute be quite aggressive again.
And Banelings pressuring forward here.
But the Muta's 10 are popping out right now.
Yikes, not
it's
the
gonna
best
not only
timing.
completely shut down this aggression. Oh wow, beautiful splits there from Snute.
Yeah. He's going to deflect everything with the Banelings there, and he's going to get on top of this queen. He's going to get on top of the drones as well. The Mutas will, of course, eventually clean this up, but... Oh, is the queen going to fall? Beautiful stop position micro on those drones in that situation.
1 HP, now 2, now 3. Oh my gosh.
So sick. So sick. And Livezerg adding on that +1 flyer carapace. That's going to help with keeping his Mutas alive. Potentially in Muta versus Muta battles, but Panda, no Mutas on the other side of the field here for Snute. And Livezerg actually hasn't confirmed or denied that. With
and Pathogen Glance, it's only halfway done.
Yeah.
This is looking bad for Snute.
Well, he's got 3 Spore Crawlers in the main. His queens have been evacuated to the natural, all in a clump of 5. So, gonna be pretty effective in and of themselves there. Could start focusing down Mutas with like 2 shots at a piece here. 1 Infestor, 6 Infestors on the field. Okay.
Yeah, he's banking so much gas there.
Well, you know, the one Ling is going to be moving in here for Livezerg, confirming that Snute's third base has been taken. And Snute is now just confirming for himself that Livezerg has taken his third base in a relatively uncommon position, but... With the Mutalists, with the map control,
I really
he's able
like
to do
this
that.
choice. Yeah. I like this choice considering the fact that he went Mutas. You're absolutely right about that.
Snute's,
7 Infestors, man.
Snute's being an innovator here, Panda. Going through these Infestors. You know, this is very uncommon in the matchup these days, but he's going to try to make it work, and he's got 7 queens on the field. That?
Yeah, the creep spread is really being kind of a linchpin in this defense. If you don't have creep spread between your bases, don't even try to pull off a strategy like this. It won't work.
Yeah, queens really need that creep spread. It's crucial for them to keep that movement advantage. If you've seen with queens off of creep before, it's a pretty slow time, but Snute
this is the main problem with this strategy like this is it's not as mobile as how many Mutas do we? Jesus.
19. 20th on the way. And they can start
firing
down queens and Spore Crawlers almost immediately here. But good transfusion going down here for Snute. A Mutalist is going to fall during the process. A second one's going to fall as well, and that queen's going to stay alive. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Lings are going to try to move in here. Are they going to go to the natural? Are they going to go to the third? It is going to be the third base.
22 Lings on the way now for Snute, recognizing the fact that this will be trouble. But now he's forcing his opponent to pull back defenses into the third base while he... Oh, he's actually going to the third base for Mutas too. Interesting choice.
Do you see fungal on Lings?
Lings, yeah. It was a damn nice fungal, though.
It was really good fungal, and the Spine Crawler is barely going to stay alive at 5 HP. Snute. Alright, he's going to survive longer. He's going for his +1 missile attack upgrades and +1 carapace, so it does feel like he may want to transition into Hydralisk here eventually, but with the Ling run by going into the third base here, Livezerg, he should be able to pick off a good amount of drones. Yeah. Queen may even fall. Definitely going to fall. No! Yes, okay.
Oh, yes.
Jeez.
The last second there.
So close there. Alright, so back at home, I mean, Livezerg's completely committed to this air assault, but if Snute's able to get a decent amount of ground units on the field, though Livezerg will have superior mobility, if Snute's just able to hit from multiple, like, locations at once, could be devastating. And what could be devastating?
About ground units on the field, the Observer!
He sees it! He sees it! Big fungal going down the one! Oh, the Mutalisks!
But he doesn't have enough fungals to keep this up. Oh no, additional infestors are on the way here.
Gosh, but none of the Mutas are gonna
Yeah.
fall. Oh, man, this is
That
what's
was
so risky.
so big for Livezerg. Unfortunately, it was lucky that the Overseer was actually passing through there at the exact time. Oh my gosh. And that ZvZ is not forgiving at all, especially when you're playing this Infestor style against Mutas. You can't afford to do that.
He didn't kill any of them. That's the biggest problem here.
Yeah.
34 Mutalisks are going to go pretty much unchecked in the skies, but on the ground here, Snute's trying his best to try to get, you know, the +2 missile attacks up. He's got the Hydralisk Den somewhere. Okay, Hydralisk Den has gone down at the natural expansion here. Livezerg posturing back in with Ling's going to get a big surround off on the Queens, but is forced to pull back due to the presence of that Infestor. And he's taking a 4th hatchery down the lower left-hand corner of the map, too. I like the persistence here to continue to try and ramp up his economy, but Ling Muta is moving into the natural expansion, and actually looking at the Infestor count on the field, Panda, only 5. Not in this area, though. Big Fungal go down on a decent clump of Mutalisks.
Yeah, over the Spore Crawlers and the Queen. But these Infestors will actually end up dying soon enough. That was a pretty good trade for Snute. That was really, really cost-effective. He kept his Infestors alive. He only lost 1 Spore Crawler throughout that.
This is definitely enabled by this very large amount of Queens on the field there. 8 in total are on the field for Snute, and Livezerg's actually rallying drones across the field. Definitely not what you want to do in this situation. And as he moves into the 3rd base here, Snute's going to be able to kill a lot more drones. And this is kind of crazy. So he's saying, I'm not going to trade Muta versus Muta with you. What I'm going to trade is Lings for drones. And
yeah.
Burrowing here, even in the 3rd base. Nice move, but it will be cleaned up by this Overseer at the end.
I mean, that's actually a pretty big win, because Livezerg has to replenish these Mutas, but right now he's not even mining from a 3rd base. And all this time, Snute's had full saturation here. I don't know, man. Snute's getting a 5th too.
Ultralisk Cavern on the way for Livezerg. What do you think about that? I mean,
it's an interesting transition. He's going to need a lot of time to get that up. Not only for the Ultralisk Cavern, but for it to actually be effective. I mean, his 2-2 is still a fair amount way off. He doesn't have melee upgrades, so he's really going to bank on that chitinous plating to really make the Ultralisk effective, because he just doesn't have the melee upgrade.
You know what?
Oh, there he goes.
Snute's willingness to build, or Snute's willingness to build Spore Crawlers in the main base and pump up his Queens for defense has really paid off for him here. On the other side of the field, though, Livezerg, his unwillingness to make Spine Crawlers has really affected his mining at that 3rd base. As you mentioned before, Snute has been completely unchecked at this 3rd base in the early stages of this game. Of course, the 4th base is going to be scouted out, but Snute already has a 5th base on the other side of the field as a basically insurance policy here. He does get the cancel off on that hatchery, and Livezerg's 4th base is actually up as well, so Snute actually hasn't scouted that out. Gonna need to try to do something about that to actually sniff that out.
But here comes Snute with a lot of full energy Infestors and a fair amount of Hydras. Yeah, they do not have the speed upgrade completed yet, but it doesn't really matter. 6 Ultras still a fair amount way out.
Yeah, and looking at the supplies here, Army supply is way in favor of Snute, 116 to 84. This 3rd base, completely
Livezerg to route that.
Are we seeing the metagame breaking here, Panda? Is Snute the next Zerg Bonjour?
I don't know, maybe. Just maybe.
Pretty wild. Ultralisk Muta composition.
So far.
Yeah. When you got Ultralisk Muta versus Roach, Hydra, Infestor, I would say that qualifies as a little bit nuts.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh, he's even creeping this over so he can extend the creep over to his 4th base, so he has a nice access route.
This guy. So clever here. 188 supply to 182. Chitinous plating is just about to finish up, so that's fortunate for Livezerg in this situation. But, you know, Panda, we're going to see fungals on Ultralisk. I don't know if I've seen that before, but oh my gosh, that's so funny looking. Okay.
There are so many infested
This
Terran,
is a mess on the field.
These Ultras can't get enough surface area to attack.
No.
They are staying alive, though.
But the Mutalisks.
And more Ultralisks are coming. Snute's forces are falling, but I mean, look at the Remax. He's continuing to make Roaches drop this, and Livezerg's third base is just now getting reestablished.
Ultras,
That was 6 Ultras that died. Just 6 Ultras.
Zelda Roaches, too. Like, think about that trade situation there.
He did lose the Infestors, though, didn't he?
Looking at the unit counting station here, he still has 4 on the field, so he did retain a few of them.
Alright.
And with that creep spread over there, he's able to have a nice little channel to get back at base, you know. Looking at both the situations here, the income is relatively even in this situation, Snute with a slight advantage, but Livezerg has just populated this base to the west side of the map.
Ooh.
And now
we do have a run by coming in here into the main base, natural of
Here we go. This could be devastating, but lots of queens are postured and positioned here. They should have decent amount of transfusions available to them, so I do feel like Snute's going to be able to hold this off relatively easily.
These queens, man.
Interesting strategy going for that mass queen. I mean, back at the main base, there are no more mineral patches for Snute, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but he is going to reveal that hive tech just as Livezerg moved in.
Yeah, that's one thing too. That I mean, if we had the premeditation of Livezerg to get a couple queens out to transfuse his ultras, that engagement would have, and the subsequent positions that we find both of our players in now would have been completely different.
Well, Snute's still not aware of these bases for Livezerg in the west part of the map, so...
Look at this. This is freaking. Oh wait, I don't want to ping because there are not enough people.
To the right? To the left?
The queen. That was freaking hysterical.
Burrowed?
Yeah, just kept burrowing to avoid the lings.
Looks like a shark.
It does.
Shark with spines on the top of it. People call the shark festers that, but maybe queen sharks are the new thing.
Oh man. Okay, Bailing Speed has been completed. He needs those to connect with the Hydras to have any hope in this engagement. 40 supply lead on the way for Snute right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
army supply's way larger for him too. A lot of that, you know, looking at the drone count here, only 73 drones to 68 for Snute. Snute's doing this on a relatively low econ, and considering that his natural's about to be mined out, he's pretty much doing it off 2 bases at this point. But here we go.
Right, this is it. Oh, and he's actually catching him retreating. The Hydras are on the front for these Balins too. This is the best engaged Livezerg could have hoped for here.
I'm going to highlight the Ultras here to see if they're able to be focused down here. Actually, Infestors for the other side, our other player here, Livezerg, are going to be super effective, and that's going to get cleaned up.
Oh, crap.
Easy peasy.
That was... I don't know what prompted Snute's decision to go back in the open. That was a bit silly. But...
He's now
damn,
in the deficit,
that was
Panda, and the army supplies
really
are
good
even.
engagement by Livezerg.
You gotta be thinking, like, Ultralisks probably do really good against Hydralisks. I would think of the Hydra almost like the Marine in this situation. Does very high DPS, but, you know, against an Ultralisk who's got chitinous plating, who's got basically 5 armor currently, about to have that +3 melee attack weapons, you know, in its company. I'm a little bit scared for Snute just based on the composition alone. He is going to be adding on a Spire here, which could be potentially for some type of Broodlord transition. I don't know if that's even what you want to do, but could he switch back into Mulus? Probably not in this situation.
Yeah. This is a crazy game, Doom.
Hey man, ZvZ, everyone was saying, oh, it's going to be a snooze fest, but actually really, really exciting action going down.
Yeah,
and you know,
huge back and forth right now. I love the 2 muted hit squad right now. Like, just leading the charge. They're the standard bearers.
How would Mass Mutalisks do against Ultralisks, I wonder?
Not effective enough.
I gotta imagine it's like shooting a BB gun at like an armored vehicle.
Like a tank. Just doesn't work.
Alright, well, Hydralisks are going to posture up top here. If Snute's able to hit those fungals and keep the Ultralisks in place, pepper them from afar, that's going to be his most effective strategy.
It's just for damage. Remember, he can't actually snare the Ultralisks because of the Frenzy ability.
How freaking awesome are Snute's creep tumors here on the right side of the map here, scouting out Livezerg's base being built as well. It just looks like to Livezerg, a regular old creep tumor.
I know, and that was such a key play too. Because you saw him constantly send Ling Run bys every time that Livezerg has attempted to take this phase. I think he's going to wait for it to finish right now until to press on.
That's smart. Very, very smart. Going to be, you know, forcing Livezerg to sink his mineral resources into that area, but he is going to be seeing the army posture out. Nope, actually, it's not going to sneak up into that position. So, I mean, Livezerg here continuing to take bases on the west side of the map. Once again, Snute has not scouted that out. Never even saw this what was his 4th base taken in the lower left. So that's another crucial part of this game. I guess Snute's basically just assuming that at this point, but it is going to be greater Spire tech, Panda.
Yeah, and this is one of those key moments in the game. Snute, he needs to survive until that greater Spire finishes. But I have a feeling with these Infestors that Livezerg is actually going to push, and oh my gosh.
His composition's greater than Snute's in this point. Huge fungals going down on all the Ultralisks. Do Ultralisks not get held in place by that?
No. Completely immune to stun, mind control effects.
Oh man. I had no
and
idea.
Snute's supply is just dropping. These Ultras are getting peppered pretty low, though. But keep in mind, all this gas that Snute really wants to use for those broods, he's going to have absolutely no ability to produce any more roaches or hydras off of this too, because he needs to keep this gas up for when those corruptors do eventually get on the field.
Oh man, and
to morph into broods.
Doing a good spread on the Ultralisk, not allowing them to like derp around and get forced into awkward pathing positions, but the Queen getting tusked to the face, and man, the ability for Ultralisk to just bust through that fungal is really the determining factor in the game, and the Greater Spire's in this position, Panda.
Yeah.
Snoot's morphing in 5 Broodlords back at his third base, but is it going to be enough to handle this? I don't think so. I mean, if Broodlings smash in against Ultralisk with no upgrades, they're just going to melt immediately. Oh,
the Greater Spire? No. Alright, there we go.
Ugh, gross. What are all those little strands
I don't know,
poking
it's like
out of there?
or...
Disgusting.
It's kind of silly. We do have 6 Broodlords on the field right now, though, and what exactly does Livezerg want to do to tap this? He does not have Spire. Oh no, he does. It just completed. Alright. Wait, no, just completed. He went Mutalisk. What the hell am I talking about?
It's okay.
Bad derp. Holy crap.
It's okay. I screwed up the
bad
Ultralisk thing earlier, but Ultralisk are absolutely ruling the day. Snoot's 4th base on the left side of the map is being focus fired down by Speedlings. I mean, Livezerg's basically saying, you don't have an economy, dude. I have 2 bases fully mining. You haven't touched my 3rd base to the south at all this game. And he's going to force these Broodlords to make a desperation charge, but meanwhile, going back in, exposing the mobility of them, and using
all he needs to do is buy time right now until he gets corruptors out. I mean, this is the exact same, like...
so many bases mining.
Yeah, so many transfuses, too. That Ultra just went from red to full really fast.
And Snoot's going to try to desperately add on his Spire back, but it's going to be spotted out once again by Livezerg, just being everywhere at once. So good play here out of our Rox.Kis player. And as he gets more and more corruptors on the field, you got to feel like this is going to be the charge forward. I mean, Snoot's got infestors on the field, but no energy. I mean, maybe a couple of fungals mixed in here, but besides that, that's his only chance. And once again, the Ultralisk just bust through that right in your face. What are you going to do?
You know what would be awesome is if, like, we just saw Neuroparasite being researched for Livezerg and actually, like, NP'd the broods.
Oh my gosh, man.
That wouldn't allow him to spend all that much gas and corruptors while he still has the ability to, take care of them.
I'm thinking super meta now, man.
Yeah, super meta.
But okay, Snoot's trying desperately with 4 roaches here to try to see what he can see. As soon as he scouts out that this 3rd base is super low on mineral patches, he's got to be thinking to himself, man, I should have taken this out a long time ago, but Burrow is going to go down on those roaches. Ultralisk won't be able to take him out just yet until the Overseers move in.
That has to be so scary. Like, you hear, like, thundering hooves above you.
Snoot's not giving up, though, throwing these infested Terran volleyballs into a nice spread here, prepared to take on any type of corruptors that may move forward here. Queens have
but this is a lot of infested Terran that he doesn't have for the subsequent engagement.
Yes, quite true. You know, they are on a timer, so it will run out. If Livezerg is just content to say, yeah, I'll just let those go, but no, he's actually just going to move in. He's saying, I've got so much armor with my upgrades here. The Ultralisks are now on 6 armor in total, with doing 44 damage a pop. Man. Alright, Snoot's backed into a quarter. This is kind of like the Honey Badger. He's going to have to do something here. You know, stifling back these Ultralisks with the Broodlings and the Infested Terrans could be effective here if he's going to be able to hit them from afar. But he simply doesn't have the damage, doesn't have the firepower to combat this. 96 supply for Snute, 131 army supply here for Livezerg. You got to be thinking, Panda, this could be the last moments in this game. And there's the GG from Snute.
He lost 1 Ultra in that engagement.